It was a disaster written all over the walls. An Italian national team that lacks spine, lacks charisma, lacks talent, and if you want to use a modern word as well, lacks aura. Because this is the real problem. Teams no longer fear Italy. And when Italy is not feared, Italy becomes a normal team. And historically, Italy was never supposed to be a normal team. Hello everyone, this is Gianluca Lia, your host. Welcome to this special episode, special rant about the Italian national team. As always, I remind you that Tactics Imperivm is powered by Serie A Spotlight, so check out Serie A Spotlight on all social media platforms. Obviously, I felt the need to speak about Italy, about this elimination, but more importantly about what this defeat represents. Because this is not just one match, this is not just Bosnia, this is not just penalties, and this is not just a red card. This is something bigger. This is a reflection of the entire football system, and maybe in some ways a reflection of the country itself. A country where football is the number one sport, a massive economic sector, always at the center of debate, always surrounded by chaos, by controversy, by political discussions, and by excuses. Because after this elimination, we will hear the same broken record we heard after 2010, after 2014, after 2018, and after 2022. Young players don't play, too many foreigners, globalization, the system, etc., etc. But the truth is that these are not new problems anymore. And when problems are not new, but they keep repeating, then they are not problems, they are structural failures. Let's start with the system problem. Serie A in recent years has been very far from what it used to be, both on and off the pitch. And the paradox is this: young Italian players perform at youth international level, but then they don't play in Serie A. They are stuck in Serie B, stuck in Serie C, until they are 24, 25, 26 years old. And by the time they arrive at the top level, they are already late. Not in age, but in experience, in mentality, in intensity, in international exposure. And this is why the best talents, and also the best coaches, the best minds, are leaving Italy. But this is not all happening in football. This is happening in the work sector as well. Skilled people are leaving the country. So clearly, something is not working at a structural level. Now, the Italian FA president, Gravina, blamed the Italian government after the match, saying there is not enough support for football, too much bureaucracy, too much red tape. And yes, it's true that football in Italy has more legal and financial complications compared to other associations, but that cannot be an excuse forever. Because other countries, much like other associations, faced crisis and reacted. And speaking about other countries that faced crisis, France in the 1990s came to mind, Germany in the early 2000s, also Belgium in the early 2000s. They all had disastrous campaigns, but they changed academies, coaching education, player development, infrastructure, and within 10 years they were producing world-class players again and achieving important results at the international level. So the question is simple: why can't Italy do the same? Now, shifting to the Bosnia match. Now let's talk about this infamous game in Zenica. And let's be honest and brutal here. Even 11 versus 11, Bosnia looked like the better team. Leave aside the red card, the refereeing decision, the penalties, those are episodes which have surely influenced the match. But the performance was already worrying against Northern Ireland. That match was already not sustainable. This elimination was just the consequence. Bosnia are not a European powerhouse, but they are a team with courage, with identity, and with young players. They had wingers born in 2005 and 2007 playing for clubs like Salzburg in Austria and PSV Eindhoven in the Netherlands. Clubs that develop players, that give them responsibility, that make them play real football. Italy, Matteo Politano, 1 goal this entire season against Lecce. Now, watching the game with the naked eye, not using statistics, not using data, just the eye test, Bosnia looked dangerous every time they attacked. Their wingers gave you the feeling that something could happen at any moment. Italy, nothing. Niente. No spark. No unpredictability. No player that beats a man. No player that creates fear. At one point Bosnia finished the match with 5 number 9s on the pitch. Italy don't even have 5 number 9s in their whole pool in this historical moment. Now, I speak about tactics, let's head into tactics. And tactically, the difference in courage was clear. Bosnia, for example, they were defending 2 versus 2 at the back. That means they were brave, they were bold, and they were not afraid of Italy's attackers. Italy were defending in a mid-block that slowly became a low block. Politano was playing almost as a fullback, not a winger. Bosnia pressed high in a structured way. Italy pressed only randomly, usually when Barella found himself next to Can by coincidence rather by structure. Bosnia crossed the ball a lot, yes, over 50 times. But they crossed into that horrible zone to defend, the space between the penalty spot and the goalkeeper. The undefendable zone. And they were winning all the aerial duels, all the second balls, even all the physical battles. Even Donnarumma's long balls were constantly won by Bosnia. And then you look at the bench. Who was the player that could change the game for Italy? All hopes were on Palestra, born in 2005 in his second appearance for the national team. And I think that tells you everything about the current moment. Gattuso. I remember Gattuso's first game. He played with a 4-4 against Estonia. Wingers, aggressive football, trying to score, trying to be exciting, trying to create chances. However, since then, Italy started to play with fear, as if they believed that if they attack, they would lose. So they tried to control, contain, suffer, and they still got eliminated. So the question is, if you are going to lose anyway, why not lose trying to play? Why not call up 1 or 2 players from Serie B who can dribble, who can run, who can take risks? Because Bosnia were leaving space behind, but they were not afraid, because Italy had no players to attack that space. Now this brings me to the end, but not before speaking about what happened also in the post-match analysis by Italian pundits and Italian TV stations. Now, at the back of it, Donnarumma and the defenders played well, that's true. But from midfield forward, Italy had no ideas, no creativity, no unpredictability, no courage. And I think this is why this defeat hurts more than others, because it didn't feel like a tragic accident, it felt inevitable. It felt like something that was coming. Italy did give everything. The players ran, fought, sacrificed, but so did Bosnia. Effort is the minimum, the requirement, not the explanation for defeat. The real difference was quality, courage and identity, in my opinion. Bosnia knew what they were and played without fear. Italy looked like a team trying not to lose, rather than a team trying to win. And when Italy plays not to lose, historically, that's when Italy loses the most. So the question now is not just how did Italy lose, but what does Italy want to become from here? Because without a clear answer to that question, this elimination will not be the last. Italian football is not lacking players, but it's lacking courage, ideas and vision. And until the changes, nights like this will continue to happen. Thank you very much.